Hello and welcome to Crypto Weeklies. In this video, we are going to analyze MicroStrategy and its ticker MSTR. None of the content is financial advice. MSTR and MicroStrategy is a stock, but it is highly correlated with Bitcoin and their purchases of Bitcoin that they have been making since August of 2020. That's when they started purchasing Bitcoin, and as of today, they have over 500 k Bitcoins, and you can check it over here on their own website. Says no, MicroStrategy owns about 538 k Bitcoin. Again, strategy.com is their new website. You can check it out over here. They have relabeled it over here, MSTR price, the number of Bitcoin they hold, the base price of Bitcoin. It's at around 538 k Bitcoin. That's almost more than half a million of Bitcoin. And in terms of the Bitcoin's price and the Bitcoin count that they hold, the implied volatility for the stock has also increased by at around 85%, and again, debt to market cap ratio at around 11%. Overall holdings as a part of market cap at around $92 billion for MicroStrategy, and 1 year return at around 159%. If you want to compare MicroStrategy with Bitcoin, because essentially they are in Bitcoin holding kind of business. Again, none of the content is financial advice. Let's proceed with that disclaimer. If we look for the technical analysis, this is the Bitcoin price. Right now it has broken up out of that bearish range where the price was lower than the 20-week simple moving and the 21-week exponential moving average. Now that price has broken out of these ranges and rallied above 92k. That's the key level to watch. If Bitcoin price is above 92k, that could bode well with MicroStrategy, as it is highly correlated with Bitcoin. You can see from the 2022 bottom to the 2025 high, Bitcoin has grown by about 600%. And if you compare MicroStrategy in a similar time period, you can see MicroStrategy is up by about 3,000, almost 4,000%. Again, this is considering what the drop was at around $12-13 during the December 2022 bottom, and now the peak for MicroStrategy occurred on 18th November of 2024. Nonetheless, it was a 4,000% rally, whereas Bitcoin rallied by about 600%. So whenever Bitcoin rallies, at least thus far, we have seen that MicroStrategy rally a lot more. Again, from the point where they started purchasing Bitcoin, the stock was at around $12 level. In the previous bull run, it peaked at around at February time period, with slightly two months prior to Bitcoin's major peak in May of 2021, May of 2021. So again, historically speaking, again, MicroStrategy has topped first in 2021 and also in late 2024, where Bitcoin rallied till about mid-January of 2025. MicroStrategy's peak came in late November of 2024. So if again, the similar trajectory for MicroStrategy as well, the stock was trading below the 20-week and the 21-week exponential moving average, and as Bitcoin broke out this week, so did MicroStrategy. Now the key levels for MicroStrategy to look for are $325, which is the 20-week moving average, and the $305, which is the 21-week exponential moving average. If prices stabilize below the $325, with again, no financial advice, but Bitcoin over the last day has rallied by quite a bit. You can see the floor for price for Bitcoin, this is daily candle as of 22nd April, was at around 87k, and the highs were at around 94k. So it was almost an $8,000 candle yesterday, and most of the action happened after the market closed. So you can see at the hourly time period, when did Bitcoin actually start rallying. And this is after 5 p.m. On Sunday. If we take yesterday's example, this is where the rally kind of occurred at around after 2 p.m. and then culminated up at around 1 a.m. or so. So let's see how this looks for MicroStrategy open today. If we look at the DCA model, this is all of the content from here on is available on cryptoweeklies.com. The link on the bottom of your screen, all for free. You don't have to pay or sign up for anything. We have forecast graph for MicroStrategy, a retirement model using a longer term compound annual growth rate simulated model, which takes into consideration the bear market drops that Bitcoin has once every 4 years. So for example, over here, the ROI for Bitcoin, and if you across the years, this looks quite noisy, but if you look at from 2020, this was the halving year, 2021 the post halving year, 2022 bear market year where the ROI was at around 65% down, 2023 the recovery year up 153%, 2024 again the halving year at up around 100%, 2025 today it's getting close to neutral, again slightly lower than the yearly open on January 1, about 0.75% lower, again less than a percent point over and under the yearly open. So again you can do this for again 2018 as well, which was a bear market year where the drop was ROI for that year was negative 72%. 2022 again similarly drop at around 65%, whereas the other 3 years in the market cycle, so for example let's take the post halving year of 2017, it was a phenomenal run for Bitcoin at 1.1800% rally. Then the 2018 bear market down by about 75%, 2019 up by about 90%, which was the recovery year, 2020 was the halving year. The last but one halving year, the last halving occurred in 2024, which we just witnessed in 2024, and at that point, from that point, from the yearly open, at one point the rally took the ROI at around 140%. Again, as Bitcoin matures, the ROI percentage might be slightly different, but nonetheless, again, as still Bitcoin and MicroStrategies are correlated as they try to bring up this Bitcoin count and Bitcoin NAV as well as MNAV, which is at around 2 right now. That means it's the premium is at around 100%. If you interpret that way, that means the market cap of MicroStrategy at around 92 billion, out of which their purchases of Bitcoin are roughly speaking 40 billion. So that would make sense, right? Like Bitcoin count that they have is at around 500,000. Let's assume Bitcoin's price is at around 100k. 500,000 times 100k, that would give be somewhere close to 50 billion, whereas the market cap has that 92 billion valuation. That means there is an MNAV multiplier at about 2. That means the Bitcoin that they hold have due to this implied volatility and historical volatility has had a premium. Multiple reasons for those, out of the scope for this video. This is more towards the forecasting capabilities for MicroStrategy using machine learning techniques. So what we have over here right now, again let's for now pause on the bull case. Let's assume again this is since they started purchasing Bitcoin. The price, this model tracks the price of at a weekly level of MicroStrategy stock. Since they started purchasing Bitcoin, as mentioned earlier, they started buying Bitcoin in August 2020. Around that point in time, we are tracking. This is in home developed machine learning model on using seasonal ARIMA and LSTM and XGBoost technique. This is not prompt engineering. This is thousands of hours of machine learning related knowledge and domain expertise went behind these models. Again, not financial advice. The base case per the model says in the next 6 months, this pink line says that the price could theoretically be somewhere between $350 and $555 if the upward trajectory for Bitcoin's price action were to continue. On the other hand, if there is a bearish correction, the support is between $260 and $160. Again, this is the estimation per the bull case scenario, per the machine learning based price forecast. Before we go to the retirement model, what I would like to spend is on the regression based analysis some amount of time to analyze what's the regression based fair value, and how does the current price reflect that fair value. So this polynomial regression function again tracks price of MicroStrategy since they started buying Bitcoin, and identifying the risk levels based on the deflection from the fair value, the polynomial regression fair value, which is a non-linear estimation of what the fair value is, using trying to understand the phase of the market cycle to avoid basically DCAing heavily in the downturn, where the slope of the regression function does estimate an end of a downturn, to provide some guidance in DCA, especially when we are somewhere over here at the peak, even though there is a drop again. As the descent of the polynomial regression function helps identify what is theoretically a bottom in a series of lows that usually form during the bearish phases, as well as in the series of highs that they occur during the bullish phases, as the slope kind of flattens out. Right now, due to the last 3 or 4 months since November 2024, the price has been in downturn. That's why the regression slope has also taken a downward trajectory. Nonetheless, right now the fair value per the model is at around $285. The price of MSTR is slightly higher at around $343. If we were to estimate what could be a theoretical peak, we do have a 2 standard deviation regression residual applied on top of the fair value, which usually helps identify major peaks. First in February 2021, then a lower high in November 2021 time period, as well as in the recovery year there was a overheated time period in July, and then March. I think I stopped DC around here, just a reference, not financial advice. In March of 2024, again the slope did carry prices higher than this dotted red line. In November, when the price at one point was slightly higher than this is daily average price. At, I believe the peak was at around $550, roughly speaking, $535, at one point $543. This tracks daily average price. So now the 2 standard deviation ceiling for MicroStrategy is at around $430. But you can see that even in the euphoria phases, this dotted red line at times is the ultimate resistance, like it was back in November 2021 and July 2023. But at times it's not the ultimate resistance. The price does go 10 to 20% higher, at times 30% higher than the regression based 2 standard deviation residual. That's why on the bottom of this model, what we have is a table which incorporates a calculation where the eventual peak is not the dotted 2 standard deviation regression line, but a 20% increment on that, a slightly higher estimation coming at the price peaking at around $515 per this model. Right now the price at around $343 is still about $200, roughly speaking, short of the regression based fair value, regression based peak forecast. At one point in not too long ago, about 15 days ago, the risk levels were at 20%, and we did make a video related to MicroStrategy saying at that point the risk levels had cooled off. Over here you can see we have covered MicroStrategy a lot throughout this bullish phase of the market cycle, let's say. And again, just wanted to highlight, if you want to stay connected with these insights, please give us a like and subscribe. Again, not financial advice, but we do make heavy technical analysis and machine learning based and data science based models, again rarely found on YouTube, to identify what are some of the best buy zones. Again, this model just alone this model, if we ignore the other regression lines and help tune out the noise, saying that only DCA, when let's say risk levels are for MicroStrategy definitely less than 30%, as it's a proxy for Bitcoin. This will model again helps identify the phases where the price action has overheated and DCA value diminishes at those points. If you want to go even low risk, less than 20%, helps identify some of the best accumulation zones. And if you want to nail the bottom, the less than 10% model, this identifies some of the major bottoms. Again, we did come close to that bottom regression line sometime in, I think, April and February of 2025. First in late February of 2025, when the prices were about $8 to $9 shy of this bottom regression line. Again, there is no guarantee that every bear market crash would eventually resolve to that bottom regression line, but again, the proximity towards the regression line is established by these risk levels and the color codes, the blue and the purple. Especially the purple one is the highest value, but again, as we try to estimate the actual like eventual bottom, we might miss out on some decent decent opportunity. If, for example, over here the price did not visit the green dotted grid line, but definitely was a decent entry point, that is still captured by this risk band between 10 to or 0.1 to 0.2 risk. If we want to estimate what could be a bottom for MicroStrategy, this band also helps identify. For now, if the markets were to cool off at $213, MSTR would be considered per this model a great buy, or like the close proximity to that $213, like it was in April of 2025 at around $237 was considered a great buy per this model. Again, not financial advice. Going forward with the retirement related model, this helps identify and project what the price of MSTR could be in several scenarios, and the amount of MicroStrategy stock needed to be a millionaire without considering any other opportunities for MicroStrategy, such as covered calls or trading or something. We are developing a similar model based on covered call and releasing pretty soon. Per this model, the peak estimated for MicroStrategy in 2025 is at around $800. Again, the models that we saw up until now, the machine learning model as well as the regression model, only estimate 6 months down the future. That covers till about end of October of 2025. Again, November, December. If this cycle is similar to 2017 cycle, which many of the analysts believe, then most of the action in 2017 occurred. Again, over here the mania phase kind of kicked on from November 2024. You can see this for Bitcoin, as well as if you look at for Ethereum as well. Again, Bitcoin did outperform Ethereum quite a bit in that cycle, but still the mania phase for Ethereum in 2017 did kick on much later at around 6th of December of 2017. So again, coming back to the topic of MicroStrategy, this model believes if 2025 ends at around $800, 2026 is a bear market, like we saw for Bitcoin with 4 years in intervals. Bitcoin dropping in 2022 and 2018, that kind of year. If we see that again, this model simulates a drop in MicroStrategy. If Bitcoin drops by 40%, a drop in MicroStrategy of 50% is not too hard to envision. So for example, over here, when Bitcoin dropped from roughly speaking 69k to 15k, the drop for MicroStrategy was 90%, whereas Bitcoin's drop was only 77% at that point. So this model shows the Bitcoin drop at around 77% from that 69k bottom till about 15.5k 69k peak to 15.5k bottom. Similarly over here, but the drop for MicroStrategy was at around 90% during the same time period or similar time period. So simulating this till 2029, the price of MicroStrategy with 45% compound annual growth rate, if Bitcoin grows at around 30%, MicroStrategy being slightly more volatile than Bitcoin with 45% year over year growth rate takes price to about 1200, then a drop at around $600 takes to 2023 at around, roughly speaking, under $2000 per share for MicroStrategy. Again, this does not account for any stock splits that they might do. This is just based on what the stock based stock based valuation is at this point in time. That is how the stock and market cap relates in terms of the number of shares as of 2025. In 2037, with again 3 years of bullishness behind MicroStrategy, from 2034 takes the stock price to about 2800, and in 2040 at around 3k. That's the target on the channel for MicroStrategy. And in that scenario, if the price of MicroStrategy stock is around 3k, number of MicroStrategy shares you would need in 2040 to retire in 2040 would be at around $330 without any covered calls and or those kind of strategies that MicroStrategy is kind of famous for, with its increased volatility and the premium that it carries in terms of the options. So with that, I would like to conclude the video saying right now the recent price action definitely looks in a bullish breakout. The key levels for MicroStrategy at around $325, for Bitcoin definitely at around 92k. Watching Bitcoin and then looking how it relates to MicroStrategy makes more sense, as MicroStrategy is correlated to Bitcoin and not the other way around, at least till now. And with that, I would like to conclude the video with saying that the estimated bull run peak for 2025 at around $800, but forecasted till about October 2025. Again, let's get rid of the bull case, the base case at around 555 towards end of September of 2025. And with that, I'd like to conclude the video. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give us a like and subscribe, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.